Inensis. You wake up in a cold, metallic room. Your body is hooked up to wires and machines blinking non-stop. Your breathing quickens. You try to scream, but your voice comes out weak. Something is wrong. Very wrong. Then you look at your hands, and they're no longer the same. Your reflection in a distant mirror shows a face that doesn't look entirely human. You've been modified. Transformed. But by who? And why? Spritze secret experiments, forbidden tests, bizarre genetic manipulations. What I'm about to show you isn't fiction. These tests actually happened. And the worst part? Many of these experiments were erased from history. But today, you're going to uncover the truth that was never meant to be revealed. Warnung vor Gefahr watch until the end. But be warned, after this video, you'll never see science the same way again. You might think this is just a nightmare. But what if I told you that experiments like this have already happened in real life? Scientists in secret laboratories, funded by governments and powerful corporations, have tested extreme genetic modifications. And many of these projects were completely erased from history. But some information leaked. Confidential documents, testimonies from former scientists, and even eyewitness accounts reveal that humans have been used as test subjects in unimaginable ways. What you're about to see is not a conspiracy theory. These are real medical experiments that defied every law of ethics and morality. And the worst part? Some of these tests might still be happening, far from the public eye. Now, get ready. Because we're about to dive into the most terrifying genetic experiments ever recorded. In the secret archives of science, there are experiments so disturbing that they seem like science fiction, but they are real. And one of the most bizarre took place in the mid-20th century, when scientists decided to push the boundaries of genetics and play God. The goal? To create a new species. A hybrid creature. Half human, half animal. A genetically modified being designed to be stronger, more resilient, and in some cases, even obedient. Witnesses reported that the first experiments were conducted using modified human embryos. Some of these embryos were developed all the way to birth. But what happened next was completely erased from official records. Warning: the most chilling detail? Leaked reports suggest that some of these creatures may have survived, and mysteriously disappeared. And this wasn't the only time science went too far. Wait until you hear about the next experiment, one that spiraled completely out of control. In the beginning, scientists believed they could control everything, every test, every mutation, every tiny genetic alteration. But they were wrong. Terribly wrong. One of the most secret experiments in history spiraled out of control in a terrifying way. The goal was simple: to create a modified organism that could resist extreme diseases and regenerate body parts rapidly. But something went horribly wrong. The Mutation trug the Testsubjekts body in unpredictable Weise. Its muscles grew uncontrollably, its bones became denser, and according to leaked reports, the creature developed a level of aggression never expected. Confidential sources claim that the lab had to be evacuated. Lights flickered wildly as alarms blared. Security was called in, but by then, it was already too late. And then, the experiment simply vanished. Officially, it never existed. No explanation was given, no official documents were released. But some witnesses claim that, even today, secret search missions are being carried out to locate whatever was created in that laboratory. But this is just the beginning. What if I told you there are reports of even darker experiments that were never meant to come to light? After the experiment vanished, the case was completely covered up. No official explanation. No clues left for the public. Just silence and fear. But some witnesses started to speak out. Former lab employees, security guards, and even scientists who worked on the project leaked shocking information. A former researcher, under a protected identity, revealed: that should never have existed. What we created was beyond human control. And by the time we realized it, it was already too late. Flashlight guards reported strange movements inside the abandoned complex years after the experiment. Noises in the dead of night. The sound of somating breathing. Somating big. And the scariest part? Some believe the creature was never destroyed, but rather captured and transported to an unknown location. But this wasn't the only time monstrous experiments disappeared without a trace. And the next case might be even more disturbing. If this experiment really disappeared, Where did it go? Some investigations point to an ultra-secret facility where forbidden genetic tests may still be happening. A former employee revealed that certain creatures were transported to hidden bases, far from public view. There they weren't destroyed, but studied, enhanced, and even replicated. A leaked document suggests that scientists achieved something even more terrifying. The mutation wasn't eliminated. It was stored, preserved, and, according to some reports, implanted into new genetic experiments. And here's the most shocking detail: some of these experiments were conducted on human test subjects. But the biggest question is, if these experiments really existed, what else is being hidden? And what if I told you that genetic manipulation didn't stop in the past, but continues to this day? If you think these experiments are a thing of the past, think again. With technological advancements, genetic manipulation has reached a level never before imagined. Today, with techniques like CRISPR DNA editing, scientists can modify living beings in ways that once seemed impossible. But here's the problem. If in the past they created genetic aberrations and hid them from humanity, what's stopping them from doing the same thing now in secret? Some researchers believe that genetic tests are still happening in hidden facilities, funded by governments and powerful corporations. Evidence points to experiments involving controlled mutations, attempts to create enhanced humans, and even the fusion of human DNA with other species. And what if I told you that some experts believe these test subjects might already be among us? Could genetically modified beings already be living in secret, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? And more importantly, what would happen if one of these experiments spiraled out of control again? If these experiments are really happening, what does that mean for the future of humanity? Imagine a world where genetically modified beings walk among us, invisible to the public eye. Would they be stronger? Smarter? Or something much, much worse? Microscope. What if the next step in science isn't just creating enhanced organisms, but modifying ordinary humans, without them even knowing? Leaked reports suggest that genetic manipulation research already involves extreme physical and urans enhancement, manipulation of human intelligence and behavior, accelerated regeneration of organs and tissues. But there's a problem. If science keeps pushing these boundaries, at what point do we stop being human and become something else? And the scariest part? These changes may already be happening, without us having any control over them. What if some of these modifications have already been applied? If this is true, then the future of humanity may already be decided, without us even knowing it. But before you jump to conclusions, you need to see what's coming next. What I'm about to reveal might completely change the way you see reality. Now you know. Science has crossed lines that should never have been crossed. Secret experiments, genetic mutations, human test subjects. If all of this really happened, what else is being hidden from us? And the big question remains. If these experiments are still happening in secret, could we already be living among genetically modified beings without even realizing it? Maybe the truth is already right in front of our eyes, but only a few are ready to see it. And here's a warning, this was just the beginning. There are many more dark secrets waiting to be uncovered. If you want to learn more about forbidden medical experiments, genetic mutations, and hidden truths, subscribe to the channel now. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next revelations, because what's coming next might be even more terrifying. After all, has science really stopped? Or are we about to witness something even more horrifying?